Ladybird book story.
The buds that got Britain reading.
One of the most prestigious artists Keane employed was Charles F. Tunnicliffe, a Royal Academician who was invited in the late 1950s to create a series of books about the countryside.
I was surprised to see Charles Tunnicliffe in the Ladybird book because I always knew him as a wildlife artist. And it was one of the first times that I realised that serious artists also were illustrators.
What I liked about these was that the scenes were very real. And within the Ladybird book, given what it needed to achieve, which was to have a diversity. I mean, look at this one here. You've got a couple of tree species. You've got beech and oak. You've got some ferns. You've got at least 3 or 4 species of fungi. You've got some pheasants on the fence. This isn't something that's been done casually in 5 minutes. Tunnicliffe has put as much effort into this illustration as he did any of his greater works.
This one here is one of my favourites. It's from What to Look For in Winter, and it shows a seed drill. But the thing that I absolutely love about it is the perspective that Tunnicliffe has adopted, and I think it's just stunningly original because, of course, it's seen from the wood pigeon's perspective.
Tunnicliffe's illustrations for the What to Look For series were not simple representations of the countryside. They were painted with a much more knowing eye. The 50s and 60s were a period of rural upheaval. They marked the changeover from the old agricultural ways to the new.
Each field is tested daily, the crop's tenderness is scientifically measured, and the peas are gathered at the moment of maximum sweetness. So automation extends to the farm, and it's your dinner table that benefits.
These sweeping changes were a much debated topic. Modernisers argued that factory farming was the future. Traditionalists lamented the passing of the old ways. Tunnicliffe's illustrations told children that both could coexist.
The question of where mechanisation fits into rural life and whether actually it's a natural part of rural life or whether it's some kind of alien kind of urban intrusion into rural life is a really hot issue at this time. One of the things which the What to Look For books were trying to do was to suggest that nature and farming went hand in hand together. So it seems to me the seed drill here harmonises perfectly with the rural scene. It's these soft, muted blue and grey colours, the brown of the fields, look at the brown of the man bending over the seed drill. So it's a vision of perfect harmony, and in many ways I think that was actually really quite innovative because it's not just taking a nostalgic view of the countryside, but trying to come to terms with the real facts of change in the countryside. This is really all about justifying the ways of modern farming to Ladybird readers.
What to Look For in Winter was followed by What to Look For in Spring, Summer and Autumn. Each book a seasonal snapshot of small facts. Spring is when deer have their young. Autumn is when hooper swans migrate.
The lake is partly frozen. Where the water has been kept in motion by the swimming movements of the ducks, ice has not been able to form, and so they have made for themselves pools in which they can dive to look for things to eat. Standing on the ice are mallards, both drakes and ducks. In the pool near are widgeon and in the distance tufted duck. These birds move about in flocks in winter, from one pond or lake to another, and often the flocks mingle.
Published in the heyday of primary school nature corners and weekend family rambles, these books were all part of helping children stay in touch with the land.
I saw a TV programme once where children thought milk came from milkmen. They didn't know it came from cows. So there was probably an earnest feeling on the part of Ladybird, who at heart are educators as well as storytellers, to show children what the countryside is like. And Tunnicliffe was a perfect choice for that because Tunnicliffe understood the countryside. He was a countryman. He was a countryman at heart.